Huge news! The Chinese EV industry is on the verge of collapse. Turns out EVs might not be the future we were promised. After spending millions to dominate the EV market, the Chinese are getting a bite back. They're facing a bloody survival battle, one so tough that at the end, only very few EV companies might remain. This video will give you 7 reasons why many Chinese EV companies will probably collapse. Let's find out. At number 7, the global market pessimism. As the global economy booms, it seems like everyone's revving up their engines for gasoline cars instead of hopping on the electric bandwagon. China, aiming for world domination in tech, had its eyes set on the automotive industry. It's like they're in a race, but they're starting from the back of the pack. While electric cars promise a greener tomorrow, right now, not as many people are buying them as expected. The Chinese government has already funneled billions of dollars into the EV industry, backing not just hundreds of startups, but also securing control over vital resources, like lithium worldwide. At one point, it seemed like no legacy car maker would be able to compete with Chinese EV companies. Everyone thought all their new electric car companies would become really popular, but it didn't happen as fast as we expected. Western governments are delaying their plans to switch to electric cars and want to keep using gasoline cars for a while longer. China hopes to be the leader in electric cars soon, but they don't have much time to wait. They put a lot of money into electric cars, hoping to dominate the global market soon. But now those companies are in trouble. But that's not all. No Chinese electric car company has become important in Western countries. And with fewer people buying electric cars in China, they're all in danger of going out of business. They grew quickly because of big rewards, not because they had a plan to keep making money. Now it's time to face the consequences, and it's going to hurt everyone, even the biggest companies, because none of them figured out how to make a profit from electric cars. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, do well to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe buttons to show your support. If you've done that, let's continue. Number 6, slowdown of domestic market. The domestic market is getting slower. You might think companies there can still do well because of lots of people buying things. But that's not going to happen because, like in Western countries, fewer people in China are buying cars now. A few years ago, lots of cars were sold, but now it's not as many. Even the sales of electric cars, which were growing very fast, are slowing down. Before, they were as high as 100%. In 2023, they grew by about 45%. But then things got even worse. What exactly happened? Well, in February, there was a really big drop. And it wasn't just because everyone was celebrating the Chinese New Year, because this data compares this year to last year, and it's down by a whole 20%. That's a big difference. Lots of things could be causing this unexpected slowdown, but first off, let's talk about the Chinese economy. It's like it had its time in the sun after growing super fast for years. Now it's like it's taken a chill pill or something. This time there's a little bit of growth happening, but if you ask regular people, they'll tell you things are way worse than what the big numbers say. Lately, it seems like the middle class in China are going backward, and the government doesn't know how to get people to spend more money. Plus, the housing market has taken a big hit, and it's no surprise that the government is struggling to manage the banks and their money. All this has affected EV sales, making the market drop. Number 5, intense price wars. A price war occurs when businesses in a particular industry compete against each other by repeatedly lowering their prices in an attempt to gain market share and drive out competitors. This has become a common thing in the EV market. The electric car market had too many cars, so the big companies had to lower their prices to compete. A few months back, the big players started a price war to beat the smaller companies. BYD, the biggest electric car maker in China, was the first to slash prices. They even outsold Tesla at one point in 2023. But now things aren't looking so good for them. In February, their sales dropped a whopping 37%. So, BYD cars are cheaper than ever. They started with discounts of 20,000 yuan. which is about $2,800. Suddenly, electric cars that were around $14,000 now cost less than $11,000. Then other companies joined in, making things even more intense. Some cars were discounted by 50%. Chinese sources say electric cars are now 30% cheaper on average than just a few months ago. Things get even better? Guess what? It's not only just Chinese companies, even foreign ones like Tesla are joining the price war. The company based in Austin, Texas, also gave big discounts in China. The Model 3 went from 265,000 to 229,000 yuan. That's like dropping from $37,000 to $32,000. The Model Y now costs 259,000 yuan, instead of the previous 288,000. What's interesting is that unlike Chinese companies, Tesla's sales actually went up recently. They announced a 26% increase in February. Number 4. Competition from legacy car makers. The price war also affected traditional cars. This made Chinese electric car startups face not just each other or Tesla anymore, but also other imported electric cars. They're battling on many fronts now. Gas-powered cars still dominate the market, and those companies want to keep it that way for as long as they can. But wait, that's not all. Traditional car companies are also giving big discounts. The price drops are quite large. Chinese reports say cars like the Honda Accord and Audi A7 are now $4,000 to $5,000 less expensive. The Audi A6 has a huge discount of $122,000. Other old-school car makers are doing the same thing. Some Mercedes-Benz models are now $10,000 cheaper. According to reports, more than 30 traditional car manufacturers are entering this price competition. It's reached a stage where you can purchase a brand new Hyundai Elantra for just a bit over $110,000. Hence, it's evident why the electric car market is experiencing such a significant slowdown. Number 3. Challenges in expansion. BYD, the largest electric car maker in China, faces challenges that mirror those of other Chinese electric car brands. Despite impressive recent sales, BYD has a major issue. It can't expand into a wide market. While it began selling electric cars in Europe, Australia, and elsewhere, sales were low. This struggle isn't unique to BYD. Other Chinese electric car brands face similar hurdles. For instance, it only sold around 16,000 cars in Europe last year. Considering this, it's not surprising that 95% of its sales happen in China. This shows just how vulnerable these Chinese electric car manufacturers are. They desperately require expansion into other markets to survive. However, given the current way things are going, accomplishing this will prove to be a very hard task. The Chinese EV companies are really in a tight corner. Number 2. Entry of new major tech companies. Guess who joined the electric car scene? Huawei and Xiaomi. Just when you thought there were already plenty of Chinese electric car startups, these two big players from the tech world decided to jump in. Their entry shook up the domestic car market with their new models that offer a great mix of price and performance. Huawei was the first to introduce its electric car, the S7. They set the stage for a new era. This sleek vehicle boasts an impressive 800-volt design, showing Huawei's commitment to cutting-edge technology. Priced at 258,000 yuan, which translates to around $35,500, it's poised to shake up the competition, particularly targeting the Tesla Model S. Things get even more interesting. Just a few weeks later, Xiaomi revealed its own electric car, the SU7. It's even cheaper, priced at 25,900 yuan, or $3,484 for one full charge. These two electric cars have really upped the game and made it much harder for other companies to survive. Number 1. Oversaturation of the EV market. Experts are saying that 70% of electric car makers are in big trouble. When you think about it, it's surprising that many experts in China think that around 70% of these companies might go bankrupt soon. Basically, there are too many electric car companies out there. In 2017, there were over 500 of them in China. That number went down to about 90 over the years, but even that's still a lot, especially for a market like China. Things get even more interesting. The newest reports show that many of these companies hardly make any cars, and about one-third of them can't even sell more than 2,000 cars a year. Meanwhile, the top 10 electric car makers, which includes Tesla, control over 80% of the market. So it's not hard to see where this is going. Soon, most of these companies won't make it. Only a few will survive, and even they'll have to team up somehow because the worldwide electric car market is slowing down. Switching to electric cars quickly and easily isn't going to happen, which is a big issue for Chinese electric car makers. They need to make money fast to stay alive. On the other hand, traditional car makers are feeling a bit better because it's obvious we're still years away from getting rid of gas-powered engines completely. There are mixed feelings about the challenges EVs are encountering. While some are pleased, others are sad. At least there's someone who comes out on top in this situation. Alright, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We'll see you in our next video.